You don't have a money problem. Yeah, I absolutely said it. See, you've downloaded the apps, you've made the spreadsheets, you prayed over your finances, you fasted, and you've declared it. And believe me, I believe in every single one of those things, every bit of it. But the money is still not moving the way God intended. Am I right? Here's what nobody told you. You are not failing because you lack discipline. You are failing because you've been trying to manage money with a system that was never built for how God wired you. Yeah. Your money personality, the way that you are naturally built to earn, hold, give, and grow, has been working against your wealth this whole time. And today, that stops. See, in my book, Destined to Prosper, where you're aligning your biblical financial personalities with wealth and abundance, I break down four biblical money personalities: steam, water, ice, and fire. And before this video is over, you are going to know exactly which one you are, why it's being blocking your breakthrough, and what God says about how to steward it. Now, stay until the end because usually you have a little bit of all of them and you need to know it. So let's go. Ready? Now, let me say this before we go anywhere else. Most financial advice starts with the numbers, and that's not wrong, but it's incomplete. Because in Proverbs, the 20th chapter and the 5th verse, it says, "The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out." See, your relationship with money runs deep. It was shaped in childhood. It was reinforced by what you watched and what you heard. The environmental structures are also includes who you hang around with. Did you know that affects you too? It was either wounded or built up by your earliest experiences with provision. And until you draw that out, until you understand why you do what you do with money, no budget on earth is going to fix it. That's right. Budgets don't fix the problem. This is a root issue. And we don't treat symptoms here, right? We heal the source. That's right. The engineer in me, Georgia Tech all day, every day, as well as University of Miami, it gets, we're taught to get to the root of the problem. No, take two aspirin and call me in the morning here. That's not what you're going to get. You're going to get solutions. So you've been seeing the fruit and you've never addressed the root. There have been many studies on money personalities that look at categorizing us as either spenders or savers. And much can be learned from this simplistic one-sided or one side or the other side kind of labeling, but it leads one with the questions as to what to do with that information. It's the classic then what scenario. But it also doesn't take into account our faith and our belief in our God and how He wired us. So, biblical financial personalities is a twist on the general personalities and it takes into account your God given giftings. I've taught these now at churches and conferences, and honestly, the room gets lighter as soon as I start breaking it down because I want to do it as simplistically as possible. The weight of the money management struggles start falling off. You can hear the chains drop. And the repeat attendees, they bring me the results. I'm telling you, lives are changed in this. So let's jump in. Are you generous, meticulous, detailed oriented, outgoing, free spirited, or a visionary? I'm sure you'll agree that no one thinks like you. You are unique and special because God made you that way. So embrace it. Now, let me just tell you, God downloaded this to me, these four distinct money personalities. One of my passions is to see believers prosper. That's what the word says. It's identified in the Bible in 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God wants us to. And then John 10:10, Jesus died for us to live an abundant life. Not somebody else down the street. You are supposed to live an abundant life. My thought is if we are broke, busted, and disgusted like the rest of the world, why would they want what we have? Yes, we can be evangelistic with our finances, but more importantly, we should be victorious and help others, not allow charlatans to fleece the flock. So I asked God, because my students in my theology classes, they were passing the test when I taught biblical finance, but their finances were still jacked up. And I taught them the budgeting in the breaks. I taught them the savings and so many other things. And it helped some of them. And I've got great testimonies to go along with it. But my goal was to help as many people as possible. So God downloaded this unique framework. It's not as a curse, as a design. And the problem isn't your personality. The problem is that nobody ever taught you how to steward it. But that changes today. Now, these four personalities, I call them steam, water, ice, and fire, and they're all acronyms. And when you identify yours, everything is going to shift. Your giving, your saving, your spending, your faith, all of it. So pull out your journal right now because I want you to take notes. Remember, I said we're taking notes today, right? All right. Now, let me say this here that if more in your background, if you are sitting there going, I know my background is stifling me. I know there's some things that I need to get done. I'm going to suggest that you get Breaking Up with Broke because that's what you need to do. If you know going deeper is necessary, then check my description for the online course. And today, I'm going to assume that your past traumas or dramas is not an issue. Let's take a ride and go through the four personalities right now. The first personality is STEAM. STEAM stands for Spend Thinking Emotionally About Memories. Now, this personality likes to be generous, primarily giving to others with the expectation of relationship development. Now, this leads to living for today, living outside one's means, people pleasing, and possibly enabling. It's a juggling act and it's a sticky financial scenario. Now, let me give you some examples, and I'm going to give you some for all of them, but more on the STEAM personality because many of us might fall here. So let's meet Sharon. She just wants to have friends. She believes the best way to gain friends is to give. The problem is that she gives to everyone, every birthday, every company function, even just because. See, every time you turn around, Sharon has her wallet or her credit card ready, thinking that as a people pleaser, everyone will eventually like her. Now, as an aside, 10% won't like you no matter what you do. And then there are those frenemies. But I digress. Anyway, the problem though for Sharon is her budget can't support her overspending. Her living only in the now mindset has a focus on what's easiest and most appealing now. So, building relationships, though, is a good thing, but it's hard to make your money stretch once it is gone. Now, me personally, I can make a dollar holler and a dime scream, but in today's economy, the screaming the dime makes nobody hears, and the stretching doesn't stretch far enough for most. So, Sharon's people pleasing tendency has also caused her some financial struggles. See, and let me go biblical for you. She thought that in Proverbs, the 18th chapter and the 24th verse, she read it in the King James, and it says, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly." She thought that meant giving was the answer to gaining friends. But she didn't realize that a deeper study in the Hebrew language warns that too many associations will bring one to ruin. Check me on this. Read it in the NIV. Again, this is Proverbs 18:24. It says, a man of many companions may come to ruin. Or check the Holman Christian Standard Version. It says, a man with many friends may be harmed. The word friend here was loosely translated in the King James Version, similar for today. All right, let's try Stephanie, because it's a little different twist on being a steamer. See, Stephanie, like Sharon, wants everyone to be happy. She's a little bit more sensitive, though, than Sharon. She's feeling the pain of others. So she receives constant requests for assistance because their bills are late and they just need a little bit of help. Well, Stephanie has a big heart and she can't bear the fact that others are in trouble. So she too pulls out her wallet to support other people. She forgot that Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens and in this way fulfill the law of Christ. She forgot it's also followed by verse 5. This is for each one should carry his own load. Bottom line, she thinks this spending will improve her relationships and she will have friends for life. Not only is she up at night because she's barely managing her own bills, but she takes on the emotional baggage of others. If she by some remote chance told them no, call that an all-nighter for her, okay? Stephanie has allowed other people's living outside of their means, their mindset, to create emotional financial baggage for her. And then there's Sandra, another twist on the steamer. She's the defender of the people, especially family. She's the one called when their bills are due, complaining it's too high and that they've been wronged. Sandra wants great relationships and spends her time and her money to make it happen. Her money management skills do need improvement, though. She helps everyone, then has to juggle to pay her own bills. See, Sandra allowed other people's priorities to overshadow her own. But I'm going to be an equal opportunity person here. So let's go to Stefan, Mr. Victorious. You know him. He looks good and appears to be the man. Well, that's what he wants you to think. He takes care of his wife and his kids and also his siblings as well as his parents. Stefan wants the image of being the go-to person. He wants to save the day. The problem? He's playing three-card Monte, juggling to keep his nice guy image. He wants to satisfy everyone and their needs while forgetting himself. He vacillates into the I deserve this mindset. But it's done at the most inopportune time, when his bank account is at its lowest. To keep his wife from finding out, he keeps a separate bank account. The game continues, but the financial stress, it mounts. And then finally, there's Steve. He's the creative one in the group, always giving and rarely on the receiving end. Unfortunately, Steve's chosen career doesn't allow for massive income. Well, not yet anyway. On his way to stardom, Steve figures he should plant seeds along the way. One day, he tells himself, it's going to pay off. So getting a second or a third job is only temporary. After all, the Bible says that you reap what you sow, right? In 2 Corinthians chapter number 9, verse 6. But Steve is overworked, to say the least. Not for his bills, but to support his so-called friends. It's a juggling act, and the balls are beginning to drop. Now here's the mirror question if you are a STEAM personality. Are you generous without expectation, or are you expecting something others aren't promising to uphold an image? See, the gift of STEAM is your generosity, like our Father in heaven. But here's where STEAM gets stuck. priorities, people pleasing, and perception. See, sowing in good ground is biblical. Remember Galatians 6 and 10, as you therefore have opportunity, do good, especially to them of the household of faith. That personality is not a flaw. It's a stewardship assignment. Your job isn't to change who you are. Your job is to align who you are with what God has called you to build. All right. Let's go to the personality number 2. That's the water personality. Now, this acronym stands for why attend to every report. This personality detests details and would rather wing it, shoot from the hip. As you can imagine, the finances are in complete disarray. Shackles of debt from living above one's means isn't enjoying life. Not at all. So let's meet Wanda. She's the wanderer. That's the first one up. She's a good-hearted person, ready for adventure. If you're looking for a companionship, she's your girl. She believes life should be enjoyed, but just doesn't want to get caught up in the details. So she tells herself it's too tedious and it's too pointless to try to budget. If she doesn't pay attention, maybe, just maybe, it will go away. Now, let me just say this. Just because you have checks in your checkbook doesn't mean you should write it. Or let me update it for today's day and age. Just because you have a card, whether it's a credit card or a debit card, does not mean that you need to use it. See, Wanda completely overlooked the scriptural admonition in Proverbs, the 6th chapter, the 6th through the 11th verses. Let me read it for you. And I'm going to read it from the Holman Christian Standard Bible. It says, "Go to the ant, you slacker. Observe its ways and become wise. Without leader, administrator, or ruler, it prepares its provisions in summer and gathers its food during harvest. How long will you stay in bed, you slacker? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms to rest, and your poverty will come like a robber, your need like a bandit." A budget and balancing her bank accounts are last on Wanda's to-do list, so it never gets done. She figures she will always be in debt. Her theme song, "Don't worry, be happy." But now let's look at Wayne. He wants life to be fun and exciting and has convinced everyone he is doing very well financially. He enjoys trying new things, but he's not prepared for his future retirement. He has kept up the image of abundance for so long, he even believes it himself. The problem? The crisis of unemployment became a reality. He was just one paycheck away from bankruptcy. And like so many, he just figured he would work all his life and the job would continue supporting his lifestyle. Unemployment and unexpected medical bills swallowed up his little bit of savings that he did have. And the house of cards is crumbling because his foundation was shaky. Talk about not counting the costs, like Luke 14:28 tells us. He doesn't even quite know where to begin and is truly overwhelmed. Now, the mirror question for water is this. If you've messed up in the past, repent and start now. No shame. Let's just begin again. But is the fear of missing out or keeping up with the Joneses limiting your financial abundance? See, the gift of the water personality is the fact that you are adventurous, you have a joyful nature, and our Father in heaven, he will take you on a journey that you did not even know was possible. But the shadow side of that, preparation, partying, and payments, late payments to be exact. See, Proverbs 21:20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." Seawater personalities carry a grace for generosity and flow, but when that flow isn't directed, it drains. The river of God moves with purpose. So must yours. All right, now I am going from my book, Destined to Prosper. You can get it. We'll talk more about that. Let's move on to the third personality. That's right, ICE. ICE stands for I can't entertain. Come here, Iris. Iris is considered the ice queen. If you ask her for a loan, you're surely going to get a no, might get a head roll and everything else that goes with it. It's not that she doesn't have it, it's simply earmarked for something else. So Iris lives tight to her budget, and very rarely does she veer off of her goals. She's planned for the future, but she doesn't show any fun in the present. As a reminder, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy and Jill a dull girl. See, life for her consists of spreadsheets and calculators. She can tell you exactly what she spent and where she spent it, yet she isn't enjoying life. When unexpected expenses arise, Iris is going to recalculate because late fees, she can't afford. She doesn't want them and she's not going to see them. But don't ask her for help and you won't get your feelings hurt. She knows adults make a way to satisfy their wants and will gladly use your money to do it. Now, a poverty mentality and living in lack may be a consequence of her upbringing that she does need to release. Breaking up or broke all over again. Yes, she believes that God shall supply all of her needs. That's in Philippians chapter number 4, verse 19, and we can jump and shout on that. But she aims to help him. No frivolous spending here. She's bordering on extreme frugality. But now let's consider Isaac. On the other hand, Isaac is a man with a plan. He's also an ice personality. He has his wife and his kids on a strict budget. And if you want to deviate from Sir Isaac's plan, you'll need graphs, a pie chart, and invoices. See, Isaac believes in waste not, want not, and works very hard. He's not about the extras, but he wants to be known as the provider. See, as long as it's a basic need, Isaac has it covered. He has goals and is very future focused. The present perks take a back seat to family provision. So don't ask this man to spot you $50 or he'll side eye you like you stole something. Let the kids ask though. That's a different story. And it's daddy to the rescue. He'll just pull out the calculator again and rob Peter to pay Paul. See, he saved a little for retirement as well as the emergency fund, but for him, every penny counts. His motto stands behind the Luke 14:28. For which of you, if you wanting to build a tower, doesn't first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to complete it? Here's a question for you, for ICE. Are you so focused on the future that you have forgotten to live today? Are you busy with business that you neglect yourself and your family? Now, I want you to be careful here because ICE is often misread. People look at an ICE personality and say they're fearful or they're cheap. That is not what this is. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a recovering ICER. Yes, the gift of ICE is your planning. That's good. And I'm not going to tell you to stop, it's biblical. But on the other side of that, being present, spiritual investment, and peace. See, Frozen isn't faithful. God always calls his resources into movement. Finally, there's fire. The fire personality is where everybody wants to be: financially independent, retiring early. And we can get there. See, The future-focused, abundant mindset navigates finances with finesse. The fire persona is grateful for blessings and is set for success. Let's meet them. All right, come here, Felicia. Yeah, Felicia is on fire when it comes to her finances. She knew to save from an early age, and she's on target to have her retirement fully funded by her 50s. Now, each quarter, she reassesses her portfolio and makes sure she includes a treat for herself. She's my kind of girl. Spa day, any kind of trip, or a massage. See, she is enjoying life. There is, of course, her savings. She's got that plan, as well as an emergency fund. You know, the 9 months of gross income, just in case her boss gets stupid or her business has to pivot. She's a woman with a plan, and she is working it. Ask her for a loan, and she'll help you, but she will require that you understand money management so that you won't come back. And no repeat visits here. She will teach you how to fish and not just give you the fish sandwich. Her concern now, though, is maximizing her investments. Felicia has an investment portfolio that may not be diversified. Her concern is retirement and how to make the money last as long as possible, and then who to entrust her legacy with. Because you know, Proverbs 13:22 says that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for her children's children. But she's just simply happy. And finally, there's Frank. Frank is a free man. He can do what he wants when he wants. He's planned ahead and he's planned well. That's right. His financial advisor assures him of his secure financial future. Frank's concern, though, is that he doesn't know how he did so well, and he wants to be able to teach his kids to do it better. He requires an analysis for all of the projects so that he can sometimes be seen as a taskmaster that lives in the future. He takes his kids on educational trips and doesn't appear to have a fun side. Frank splurges every now and then on basketball season tickets and electronic toys. The problem his wife has is that the splurging seems only to be for him. His motto is that he worked hard and he deserves it. If he could only loosen the reins just a little. Now, for my fire personality, to see if this is you. Do you know how much you need for retirement? And are you on track with that? See, the gift of the fire personality is your preparation. Your challenge, though, is the diversification and the transferring of that wisdom that you do have. Matthew, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse warns not to throw your pearls before swine. The fire personality, when fully surrendered, is generating, giving, and building legacy. But fire without wisdom, it burns the house down. Your fire is a fuel source. The question is, what are you burning for? Now, if you are watching this and you know which personality you are and you are ready to go deeper, I need you to grab a copy of Destined to Prosper. I'm going to put the links in the description below. But this book was written specifically to walk you through your money personality and show you how to build a biblical financial foundation on top of it. It's got strategies in it, not only for you as an individual, but for couples as well as if you're an entrepreneur too. So I want to make sure that you get it. Get it, read it. Bring it to the rest of the series because in parts 2, 3, and 4, we're going to build directly on what we're laying right here. All right? So get the book. It's waiting on you. All right. Now, what I want to connect your personality to the most foundational biblical money principles that I do teach. That's a 10-10-80 rule. You know, 3 different buckets. You give some, you save some, and you spend some. All right. 10% you're going to give to God. That's the first 10%. That's your tithe. This is not negotiable. All right. Queenpreneurs, kingdompreneurs, this is not negotiable. It's biblical. You want to be in covenant. It is not a suggestion, and it is not a response to how you feel on a Sunday morning. Malachi 3 and 10 tells us that we bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. Whole, entire, 10%. We return it, not after what's left over from the bills. First. All right? Not what's left, but what's first. We give God our best. Then the second 10%, we save some. You pay yourself. That's your savings, your seed for the future. Proverbs 13:22, again, a good person is going to leave an inheritance for their children's children, but you cannot leave what you did not save, period. 80% you spend. That's what you live on. Not 100%, not 110 on a credit card, 80%. Now, here's what I need you to hear. Every money personality fights a different part of this equation. Steam is going to struggle most with giving too many gifts and paying themselves. Water is going to struggle with not staying within a budget and probably paying God as well as themselves because they're spending more. Ice is going to struggle most with enjoying today and paying God first, not last. And fire struggle, wise investing in others. Same principle, 4 different battles. But when you know your war, you can fight it strategically instead of wondering why the same cycle keeps coming back. Remember, we're fixing the root, not the result. All right. So here's your action step before you close this video. Number 1, identify your personality. Steam, water, ice, or fire. I want you to drop it in the comments below, and I'm going to read every single one, and I want to know which one you are. Identify it. Number 2, I want you to look at the 10-10-80 rule and name which part is the hardest for your personality, for you. Just name it out loud, right? Awareness is the beginning of stewardship. And then next week, we're going into part 2, banking done right, right? Because once you know your personality, you need to know how to structure your actual accounts to work with how God wired you, not against it. I'm going to give you the exact system. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss it. Part 2 is going to shift something for you. All right. I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes. I'm known as your destiny designer and your biblical money management expert, and I'm here to help you put feet to your faith so that you can walk victoriously. Now, this series, Biblical Finance, Money Management God's Way, was built for you as a queenpreneur, as a kingdompreneur. Share it with another believer who is ready to get their finances in alignment with their faith. They need it. All right. I'll see you in part 2. Now go walk in it.